Namaste everyone. We are continuing with determining the magnetic field at a point due to a current carrying toroid. We had already seen solenoid in the previous part of this lecture, and we will be finishing off this lecture with toroid. So what's a toroid? Assuming that you are going to actually bend the solenoid to form a spherical pattern, to form a circular pattern, then you call that as a toroid. As you see on your screens, this is basically a toroid, something that looks similar to your swim ring, right? A ring form, then you call that as a toroid. Now, when a toroid is going to carry current, let us assume that the current moves up from this arm and comes out in this arm. So if I'm going to take a knife, as we did for a solenoid, if I'm going to take a knife and cut it along this edge, right, like you cut a burger, a burger bun to keep your fillings inside, as you are going to cut it in that format. And if you are going to look at it from above, now how is it going to look like? It's going to look something like this. You can see over here, O dash is nothing but the axis of the toroid. And as I said, if I'm going to cut through the toroid in this side, right, as you're going to cut it and you're going to view it from top, it's going to look something similar to this. That means the current is going to go, it's going to enter here. You can see it is going to enter here. So that means it's going to go into and come out, go into and come out. Or if you're going to take it in the other direction, it's going to come into, suppose this wire is going, let's assume that this wire is going up and coming down like this. That's what this figure shows. It goes into in the inner region and comes out in the upper region, right? So if I'm going to consider the upper coil like this, then the current, if you look at the inner circle, all the points, the current is moving into the coil, and all the outer points, the current is coming out of the coil. So we are looking at the cross section where current is moving in that fashion. Now, if I'm going to analyze this particular circuit, I'm going to look at three different points. D1, where D1 is interior to the toroid, D2 is within the toroid, and D3 is exterior to the toroid. So I'm going to consider 3 points, and I'm going to see what's going to be we are going to see what is going to be the magnetic field at that particular point. Now for that, what are we going to use? We are going to use our Ampere's circuital law. Hope you remember what we did in the previous part. So Ampere's circuital law states that the line integral of the magnetic field around a closed path is always equal to mu naught times the current threading through the path, right, threading through the path. And when we are going to talk about the net current that is going to thread through the path, please remember what we did in the previous part of this lecture, when we said that the direction of the current matters because it is net current, algebraic sum of the current. So any current that is going to flow in the same direction adds up, and any current that is going to flow in the opposite direction is going to cancel off. Now let us consider any point within that is interior to the toroid. So let me assume that there is a point P1 over here, which is interior to the toroid. If I'm going to consider P1 and I'm going to draw an Amperian loop, which is shown in the brown line over there. If I'm going to consider an Amperian loop, which is going to have the point P1 under consideration on it, and I am going to apply Ampere's circuital law to this particular loop, what's going to happen? Because this loop, through this loop, there is no current that is threading through it, right? There is no current that is moving through the loop that we are considering. So on the right hand side, I becomes equal to 0 for the point P1, or for that matter, any point which is considered in the interior of the toroid will have my line integral B dot dl to be equal to 0, which implies B will be equal to 0 for this particular case, that is For all points in the interior of the toroid, the magnetic field due to the current flowing through the toroid will be zero, because there is no current. If I consider at any radius, whether it is small or big or bigger than that, any radius that I'm going to consider, I'm going to have a zero magnetic field in the interior of the toroid. Now let's look at the point exterior to the toroid. Say, for example, I consider any point P3 in the exterior of the toroid. And let me assume that brown line that is drawn over there is the Amperian loop which I have drawn, taking into consideration point P3. Now, definitely current is threading through this particular Amperian loop. But look, what is happening to the direction net current, if I'm going to consider, because the mu naught I that I write in the Ampere circuital law is the algebraic sum of the currents threading through the loop. So if you look at it, as many currents as they are out of the loop, so many currents are into the loop. Now, if you look at this loop and the loop that we saw in the previous case, the directions are different. In the previous case, it was shown that interior में वो into the loop जा रहा है और exterior में out of the loop आ रहा है. यहाँ पे figure shows interior में it is going, it is coming out of the loop, and exterior में it is going into the loop. However we consider it, please let us not assume that this is a wrong figure. Maybe here the cross section that I have taken for the toroid is in such a way that the current goes into the loop when it is in the exterior and comes out when it is interior. So that is the way it has been found. So please do not consider it as an error. The figures that I have taken are from different pages, so they considerations. But nevertheless, the results that we are going to talk about for the interior, exterior, and within the toroid are going to remain the same. It's not going to change. So let's look at the exterior point P3. As many currents are flowing into the loop, so many currents are going to thread out. And we know we did this in Kirchhoff's laws also. Currents moving in opposite direction are going to be taken as negative. So what happens is the algebraic sum of the current, that is the net current that is flowing in the ampere, that is threading through the Amperian loop, becomes equal to zero. Not because there is no current threading through the loop. Please get that very clearly. When we considered point P1, there was no current threading through the loop. When I'm going to consider P3, there is current threading through the loop, but equal amount of current is threading through the loop into the loop as well as out of the loop. So they're going to cancel each other. And even in this case, we are going to have a field equal to zero. That means interior to the toroid and exterior to the toroid, the current flowing through the loop, the current flowing through the toroid is not going to create any magnetic field. The field due to the toroid is going to be zero. Now let us consider our third case, where I'm going to consider a point in the within the toroid. So let us consider a point P2, and let us draw an Amperian loop that is going to have P2 on it. Now if we look at the current threading through the loop, you can very well see from your figure that all the currents that are threading through the loop are in the same direction. Yes or no, children? You can see all these are dots. So that means all these currents are going to be coming out of the toroid, that they are going to be coming in the same direction. So there is some magnitude of current that is going to be threading through this loop, and I'm going to apply Ampere's circuital law over here. So if I'm going to have B dot dl, let us first find out what is on the left hand side of my Ampere's circuital law. So line integral B dot dl becomes equal to, now there is a dot product. At every point, you know that the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor is going to be tangential at every point on the magnetic line of force. So if I am going to consider this particular point, let me consider the magnetic field is going to be tangential to it, and the line element is also tangential to the loop. So B dot dl may this is basically A dot B, which becomes AB cos theta. So this is B dl cos theta. And this theta becomes equal to 0 since B and dl are in the same direction. And at every point on this Amperian loop that we are considering, by symmetry, the magnetic field is going to be uniform because it is not any different from the successive points. So this actually becomes B line integral dl cos 0 becomes equal to 1. And what happens to the integral of dl? It gives us nothing but the circumference of the Amperian loop. If I am going to consider this loop to have a radius r, then I have this to be equal to b times 2 pi r. This becomes the left hand side of the Ampere's circuital law. Now let's look at the right hand side of the Ampere's circuital law, which is going to be mu naught into I, where I is the net current. It is the algebraic sum of the current that is flowing through the threading through the loop. Now let us assume there are n turns, and we know that the turn density n is going to be given by capital N by L. So what happens to n? My capital N, the number of turns, because through one loop I have a current I, and we know that in the toroid we have n loops. So that means there are NL turns. Right? So what happens to the current? The total current becomes equal to mu naught into n times what is L? L is nothing but the length of the loop over which you are considering the turns. So that is nothing but 2 pi r in this case, right? And then times I. This becomes the right hand side of our Ampere's circuital law. And you remember that we just derived the left hand side to be B times 2 pi r. So B times 2 pi r is equal to mu naught n times 2 pi r times I. And what happens to the 2 pi r on both sides being common? Gets cancelled off, and we end up getting the same result that we got for our solenoid. So that becomes mu naught n times I. This is the field that is going to exist within the toroid. Please understand. So interior to the toroid, exterior to the toroid, the field is 0, while within the toroid, the field is the same as that we derived for a solenoid, which is B is equal to mu naught times Ni, where let us remember N is nothing but the turn density of the toroid. That is number of turns per unit length of the toroid. So we have seen two applications of Ampere's circuital law, that is to find the magnetic field at a point due to a solenoid and due to a toroid. And as I said, this law is basically a theorem which can be proved using Biot-Savart law. So that's about Ampere's circuital law. We will meet in the next class. And in that class, we will be moving on to charges that are going to move in a magnetic field, or force that is going to act on charges that are going to move in a magnetic field. Till then, stay safe.